with the announcement that going forward, Miles is going to be the main focus, I started playing with him a little bit more post game just to kind of get a feel for the character and stuff. What do you think about that decision?
I think it's an overall Marvel decision. I think we've told a lot of Peter stories. We've told quite a few. It's not that like we're done with Peter, but I think
and that's the thing I want to note out too is they didn't say they're done. They just said Miles is the main focus.
And I think what that leads to is like with the success of Into the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse, like Across the Spider-Verse, all those kind of things. Like Miles is arguably like right here. Like I think they just want to give like Miles, like Peter's here, right? And I think they just want to give Miles the like final completion to be where they could literally like just use like if Spider-Man is Miles or Peter in the future, like people are gonna be like, oh, I know both of them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, you have to understand too, like as us being a little bit of an older generation, as the younger generation gets older and becomes the bigger demographic for video games and stuff, Miles is the Spider-Man they got to grow up with.
Yeah,
so I think that's a cool idea, but in the same sense with some of the DLC and some of the open storylines, I like with Carnage.
I was about to say, did you finish the fire thing? Okay, so I was gonna bring that up, but I didn't want to.
When we first see him, like first of all, I knew from the comic the Spiral, so I knew going in that this was a Carnage mission. But when you see the redhead, I was like, that's fucking Cletus Cassidy, like 100%. You're not going to tell that story without Peter,
right?
So you're going to get Peter. What's cool too is the ending with the cinematics is we're getting an introduction of Cindy Moon, who is Silk. Remember they're having dinner and he introduces, he's like, it's my daughter, Cindy. That is Silk in the comic
I didn't know that.
So we're probably getting her as a playable character, and you have to figure.
Did yours glitch out at the end where he didn't have a suit?
Okay, you want to know when that happened for me? Yeah. You want to know when that happened for me?
No.
The finale of getting the symbiote suit off of Peter. So for several minutes, there's nothing there, and then there's just a floating Peter head. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I had avoided it the whole game. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, right at this big cinematic scene, floating Peter face.
Mine was the end of the game where Miles comes to say bye to...
That's...
So, like, literally, I am, like, just floating Miles' head.
Like,
you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Man, that brings up something else.
And then you fly around as a square after, like a cube.
I did for a minute just to see what it was like, and it was disorienting.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Because I don't see the limbs. I don't know what's going on. It was awful. That being said, gameplay, storyline, I thought the Venom stuff was outstanding.
Yeah.
Get to play as him. I have to hope that with Carnage, Harry comes back as Venom. Maybe we get 4 characters to choose from in the next one. Cindy, Peter, Venom, and Miles.
So you're thinking it's going to be like a team up against Carnage, like Carnage would be the main.
But I mean, like you already introduced the multiple person gameplay stuff.
Right.
It's what's throwing 2 more characters on that wheel.
Right.
And I think that would be a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
A lot of different ways to play.
Spider-Verse stuff. Did you collect all the Spider-Verse?
I did. Okay. And at the beginning of that mission, when Genki says, I don't know where they're coming from. I'm like, I think this is a Spider-Verse mission. I thought it was a cool tie-in to make it look like another video game was dealing with it. But that is a direct tie-in to the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah, because she mentions Miguel by name. When
she mentions Miguel. You do see this Spider-Man in Across the Spider-Verse.
Correct.
He is in that Citadel.
I did it as Miles, though, so it was kind of weird.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
See, like I said, I played a lot of Peter with that. But I felt like because Genki was talking, that might have been a Peter or a Miles focused mission.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do. I think one of the things that they're like, because the big focus of the Spider-Verse movies is that like Miles got bit by a spider that's not from his like universe, right?
Yes.
So I think that's why they were like making it like this whole thing is like he is that event. Like,
100%. But I thought that was so cool. And it was such a cool, like they use the exact same portal.
No, they just did great. The game overall is a 10 out of 10. And I don't see anything like, there's literally nothing that I can complain about. And it's like, what's your one thing?
Miles' final costume is
horrendous.
Horrible.
They're selling the shoes. You know
fine. Cool. Shoes are fine. The rest of that outfit sucks.
Here's the thing is
The open
this-
hair,
yeah.
I just didn't.
It's not great.
And it's like totally not built. Like they don't talk about another suit the whole game.
No.
He just shows up and he's all like, I had to do something that felt a little more me. And it's like, hey, bro, I called you 20 minutes ago
Right.
and said, we got to get over here. Why are you designing a trash ass costume to come help me?
Right.
That was my only negative part of that game.
And then it sucks because they make you play in that costume.
I changed it immediately and then it put it right back to me in
Yeah.
the next cutscene. And I was like, I don't want to look at this.
Right.
It's bad to look at.
Suits. While we're on the suits.
Yes.
I actually felt like overall they were pretty lackluster, if I'm being honest.
I had fun playing with the ones that I like playing with.
Mhm.
A lot of them were featured in the first game. I
Yeah.
love the Iron Spider costume. I loved the Fantastic Four one. That's
Mhm.
one of my favorite. It's never really been used in the comics. There's been people that have drawn it. It got used in the Empire event because there's a small run of it. I want to say it's honestly like maybe 2 or 4 issues.
Mhm.
I could even be wrong on that. It could have been whatever. But there was a point in the Fantastic Four where the Fantastic Four are out of town
Mhm.
and Ghost Rider, Joe Fixit Hulk, Wolverine, and Spider-Man act as the Fantastic Four, but they're never in costume.
Okay.
So that is what that blue and black
Right.
costume reference,
Mhm.
which I loved. I will say some of the final rewards for the suits, like the final science mission you do as
Yeah.
Peter, that's from Life Story
Mhm.
and it takes place in space. And I was just like, why would you build your buddy a space costume? Like
Right.
that was the big reveal of.
And then like the Miles when you finish all of the Brooklyn Heights stuff.
And it was what? It was the.
It's like it's like an American, like it's like his
the-
normal
the-
suit. with,
Okay,
like,
so
a
that was
captain.
used as a variant, I believe, like the Puerto Rican flag because he's Puerto Rican.
I think I don't even know if it. Well, I guess it was a Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
flag
that
then,
was
yeah.
that was used.
That
as
makes
like
way
a-
more sense because I thought it was like a Captain America thing, and I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, well, they had like a Spider-Man suit that like referenced that in the comics at some point, but no, that was like I forget what it was used for, but yeah, that was like a Puerto Rican flag to show because Miles is.
Did you feel like the styles were a cop out?
The interesting part about the amount of suits to me is
Mm-hmm.
like Peter has what, like 80 years of Spider-Man history of
Mhm.
different costumes and different things you can pull from.
Mhm.
Miles, although we're going on 10 years now,
Mhm.
still doesn't have that many variations.
Right.
So I did feel like a lot of his felt forced.
Mm-hmm.
The one I do love is from the previous Miles game, the Prowler outfit.
Yeah.
I love that purple and green. I love how it like is an homage to his uncle.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do feel that especially the ones that were designed for
Yeah.
the game specifically, I didn't touch any of those for either one of them.
Okay, so top 3 Peter, top 3 Miles, go.
Ooh, man, I'm gonna forget one. I did like the classic black.
Okay.
That you could do either the black, the kind of blue, or the red and blue shadow, like from the animated series. Thought that was great. Just because we don't really get a classic black in the first one either, so it's
Right.
cool to play as that.
Mhm.
Second one is Iron Spider,
Mhm.
just because I love that.
The red and yellow or the movie one?
The comic book one,
Okay.
the red and yellow one.
Mhm.
And then you know what? I'm thinking about a couple others. I will say the Fantastic Four, but I do love the Superior Spider-Man costume as well.
Okay.
Miles would be the Prowler outfit.
Mhm.
I did like the 2099 Brooklyn looking one.
Mhm.
And I think just the class. Actually, I did like how you could change the tracksuit to kind of resemble the suit Peter wears, the in-game suit.
Yeah.
The red, blue, and white. I liked how you could match them with a few.
Mhm.
But those are my 3 and 3. Yours.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I liked how it
animation
changed
style.
the frame rate. I think that was super neat.
Yeah.
I want to say I really like the Wolverine one.
Okay. The best you do or
Yeah, the
whatever.
best suit ever or whatever. And I want to say my last one for Miles was like just the regular
That's what I kept doing.
Yeah.
I kept putting that one on too.
oh no,
because
the Craven one I liked a
That
lot.
was a fun little
Yeah.
reward, and
But
I like
that's
how
for
they
both
had
of
the
them, yeah.
matching. That was kind of fun. I
Mhm.
like that one.
I think
too.
I'm currently in the Craven suits on both of them. So
Okay.
yeah.
What about your Spider-Man?
Here's the thing: is like I wanted a true Future Foundation suit.
So did I. Well, they did that in the first one,
Yeah.
but I felt like the eyes got weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping for a cleaner looking.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't get that. So
No,
I was
we did
pretty
not.
pretty upset about that. I want to say I spent a lot of time as Peter as actually in the anti-venoms and like the anti-venom
That was
suit.
fun too. That was
Yeah.
a cool. That was a cool way how they tied Martin Lee into everything.
Yeah,
That was a very good story, and I thought that was a cool way to make him
Mhm.
relevant. But
I agree.
and make
then-
the anti-venom stuff make sense.
Right. I want to say the Peter suits, man. I had a couple of them on. I don't remember what they are right off the top of my head right now, but I did have the Iron Spider suit from the movie.
Yeah,
Like
the movie ones are fun because they
Yeah.
look so good.
hmm So I had that one on a lot of the time, and then I want to say the only other one that I rocked like a decent amount of time was the what is it called? I forget. I think it's the one that you get from. No, I'm gonna spend too much time.
Okay.
on it. It's over.
But
I didn't like. Like I said, I liked Miles' suits more. I didn't like Peter's as much because I
Yeah.
felt like the ones that I want. Like I have very like select Spider-Man suits that I like, and I didn't feel like I got any of them.
I feel like I'm the same way. Whereas like I really like the ones I like, and I
Mhm.
really don't like the ones that I do not. like.
Correct. Yeah.
And I feel it. Although there were a lot of like costumes and suits to pick out from,
hmm
I'd say there were an equal part of both that I didn't mess with because I
Okay.
just didn't think they looked great. And like I said, Miles, it sucks because you have to stretch a little bit more with him
hmm
because he hasn't been altered nearly as much as Spider-Man because he doesn't have the history. He's got
Right.
10 years versus 80. Like,
Right.
it's a huge thing.
So
Um,
overall ranking before we talk this into oblivion.
This is the best game I played all year.
Yeah,
This
agreed.
is my game. This is my favorite game of the year. I loved it. Thoughts for the next one?
Do you think DLC is going to come like
You got to think there's DLC.
but
with
do
this.
you tease Carnage or do you tell that story in the DLC?
I want to say you tease Carnage in the DLC because that seems the final mission with Wraith
Mm-hmm.
really builds up that threat. And I
Right.
feel like that would be a lot to push into. Well, I don't know. Maybe you never
That's what
know.
I'm saying is like you do
They
another
could
10
do it.
hours like Venom game or like Carnage game and then like you go spin off Venom because I've heard rumors and rumblings of a Venom spin off.
That's what I was saying. If you can make him playable,
Mhm.
I think that gives you that without having to launch a full other game. But we have Avengers Tower, we have Baxter Building, we have all this kind of stuff. So we have to think that maybe the Iron Man and the Wolverine games are going to play into this.
No, they are all in the universe now.
Okay, that's cool.
That was confirmed over the last time since we last spoke that they are all in universe.
Perfect.
But only Wolverine and Avengers have been announced, and they're talking about a potential Venom spinoff.
Let's do it. I'm here for it. What was your final ranking of the game, though?
Like, I've said it again and again, 10 out of 10.
Perfect.
Like, there's nothing about it that's like nothing that is like some glitches, but it's nothing.
No,
you know what I mean? It's nothing
I
crazy.
enjoyed. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it fully.
Literally everything about it. Best storylines, best Peter stories, like best Spider-Man stories, Venom story, and there's a lot to build on. So from there, until next time.